allow us to introduce our cousin, Happy Cuz. You're vermin. You're scum. You are absolute human waste, and you both can burn in hell. So that's the portal to hell you managed to get?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
Texas Tom's discount occult artifacts.
And now, because somebody decided to go cheap on the portal, we are now phasing aimlessly through various universes.
Finally, we made it.
Well, now that our little interdimensional journey's over, time to find Happy Cuz.
Yeah, that may take a while.
Hello, mortals, and welcome to Scary Sibs.
And as you can see by the fire and brimstone surrounding us, we are currently in hell looking for our obnoxious cousin, Happy Cuz.
Yes, we were absolutely overcome with guilt over betraying her and condemning her to this place, so we felt the need to come down here and save her.
You may feel guilty about betraying her. I'm just hoping this act of heroism gets us out of that damn crypt and into heaven.
Wait, so wasn't this whole thing your idea? Didn't you come to me crying that we wronged Happy Cuz?
I told you time and time again, there was black mold festering in the crypt, which you know I am allergic to.
Can ghosts have allergic?
Anyways, to pass the time while we search, we felt it thematically appropriate to discuss a series of horror films that deal with the ultimate of all sins, betrayal.
Many horror stories begin with an act of betrayal, whether that be a scorned lover attempting to murder their partner, a so-called friend luring their pals into a trap, or anything in between. Sometimes a literal knife in the back begins with a figurative knife in the back, just like what landed Happy Cuz here.
Oh, will you give it a rest already? Come on, we have an entire nightmare realm to search, and we're already burning hell light. Just come on.
Let's rest for a moment. My dogs are barking.
I think those are hellhounds, sister. Well, anyway, while we catch our breaths, let's go ahead and get started with the ranking. Here are the top 10 horror movies with a theme of betrayal. Oh, and by the way, seeing as how it will be impossible to discuss the betrayal element of these movies without going into spoilers, an extra spoiler warning is in effect for these films, including some of their endings, so just a heads up. Number 10, Rosemary's Baby. A young woman named Rosemary and her husband move into a new apartment where all initially seems well. They even become quickly acquainted with the new neighbors, who seem odd but also very friendly. One night, Rosemary has a horrible nightmare where she's raped by Satan himself. Things take an even worse turn when it turns out that that nightmare may have actually been real, because she's mysteriously pregnant. Not only that, it seems like literally everyone in her life wants her to give birth to the ultimate monster child.
What I like about this film is the creeping tension that persists throughout the film. We really get the impression that no one can be trusted. And we feel almost as paranoid as Rosemary herself. The main downside here is that the movie is rather dull and seems to drag on at times. The horror moments are few and far between and interspersed with, honestly, some very boring scenes. This is one where you start to watch the clock wondering how much of this movie is left until we get to the satisfyingly intense ending.
This is a movie with a chilling premise and an overwhelming sense of paranoia that naturally follows the fact that everyone in your life is conspiring against you. Unfortunately, it's set against the backdrop of a somewhat slow and boring film. This is one I would love to see a modern remake of, as a modern horror director could take this premise and bring it to life in an intense, terrifying way.
Number 9. What Lies Beneath. Claire and Norman are a middle-aged couple who move into a new home after sending their daughter off to college. The empty nest syndrome seems to hit Claire hard as she tries to lose herself in old hobbies and keep herself busy. As she is doing so, she notices some strange behavior from the couple next door and begins to suspect that the husband has killed his wife. As the mystery unfolds before her, she discovers that the spirit of this woman may be trying to contact her about the truth. A truth she may not want to find.
This is a very compelling drama film with an intriguing mystery at its center. It's not quite as scary as some of the other films on this list, but the tension throughout is palpable. You're right there with Claire trying to unravel the mystery of what's going on around her, and the movie throws in enough twists to keep you guessing. The light supernatural elements in this film also add to the fear factor, and while the reveal of Norman being the killer is obvious, the acting and characters are strong enough to still keep you interested.
I found myself wishing there was another layer here, like one final twist that would make us question everything that we had just seen. The ultimate truth of the matter may be tired and played out, but it still is a good movie with great acting and a supernatural edge that keeps it just interesting enough.
Number 8, Ready or Not. A woman named Grace is excited to finally marry her rich fiancé, Alex. At first, the wedding is a perfect fairy tale wedding. After the ceremony, Alex tells Grace that she has to join his family in a game night for the wedding to be official. She picks a game out of a mysterious box, which turns out to be hide and seek, the one game she shouldn't have drawn, as the rules of this game state that the family must hunt her through the house, and if they find her, she'll have more to worry about than simply losing a game.
I have a lot of good things to say about this movie, and overall I really did enjoy it. The idea is fun, the humor from all characters is clever and funny, and Grace is definitely a character that you can root for. Now, the downsides come in the final betrayal and twist, as it does seemingly come out of nowhere. Alex seems to do a full 180 that we never saw even a hint of before. Turning against Grace seemingly unprovoked, this makes it feel like a cheap twist that perhaps wasn't thought all the way through.
Yes, the twist of Alex's betrayal was poorly handled, as he'd spent the entire film trying to save Grace, and then suddenly turns on her out of the blue. It felt forced and uncharacteristic. But the final sequence of the family exploding as the curse is revealed to be real is so fun that I can forgive it. That's what this film was overall, fun. It was campy, and even the villains got in some good comedic moments. I recommend this if you're looking for something a bit less serious.
Number 7, Happy Death Day. A college student, Tree, is brutally murdered on her birthday by a masked criminal. Then, she wakes up and it is her birthday again. And she is murdered again. She repeats this gruesome cycle time and time again as she tries to solve her own murder and escape her fate to make it to the next day. Along the way, she begins to reflect on some of her own mistakes and gets the chance to send her life in a better direction.
I love the premise behind this film. Essentially a horror take on Groundhog Day. The movie has a lot of fun with this idea, and it's neat to see every choice Tree makes spiraling into a new bizarre timeline. Tree at first was unlikable and rude, but I think that's the point. She wasn't a pleasant person and made a lot of enemies, thereby making a lot of suspects. Once Tree begins to grow and learn from her past mistakes, she was a protagonist that I wanted to root for. No pun intended, Tree. Now, I did also like that they didn't go with the tired, the boyfriend did it cliche, because that's been done enough on this list already.
I love the way this movie balances drama, horror, and comedy perfectly. It doesn't take itself too seriously, yet still manages to have enough depth to make you care. Also, if you go into this movie not knowing the twist, I promise you will not see it coming. Even though we kind of spoiled it for you here, hey, we did put a warning at the beginning.
Number 6, you're next. A wealthy mother and father invite their adult children and their partners to their summer home for a wedding anniversary dinner to catch up with everyone. Immediately, tensions between the children and their parents begin to rise, but things come to a head when the family are suddenly attacked by a mysterious group of killers wearing animal masks. Now, the remaining survivors must try to find a way to make it through the night, discover who these killers are, and if someone in their family arranged the attacks themselves.
This movie has several twists and turns, and just when you think you have it figured out, something else is thrown in. Now, this movie is getting no awards for acting, realism, or seriousness, but it is extremely entertaining, suspenseful, and creative. After the final twist is revealed, you immediately want to go back and re-watch this film from the start to pick up on any subtle hints that you may have missed throughout. This twist is done extremely well, and I love showing this movie to people just to see them react to the twist.
Yes, yet another boyfriend husband was behind it twist, but you know what? This one I actually didn't see coming, and in retrospect makes some level of sense. Barring that, I liked how the final girl in this movie was actually smart, and didn't survive by sheer luck, but rather by skill. We need more smart horror protagonists who don't run upstairs or trip over nothing. I hope we find Happy Cuz soon. The glow from all this lava is starting to burn into my eyes like a skier who forgot to wear his goggles.
That was a very specific analogy.
I can get very creative with my lighting.
Halt! None may pass unless they solve my riddle.
Riddle, huh? Oh, well, be like a good, mental challenge. Bring it on.
Very well. Listen closely. I have 2 hands, but cannot hold anything. Looking into my face grants you knowledge, yet my minutes are numbered. What am I?
A block of cheese.
What? No, not even close. Okay, let me give you another clue. I have 2 hands that can't hold anything. Looking into my face gives you knowledge. My minutes are numbered. And I am a good friend because I will always give you the time of day.
Wow, we did not expect this to be this difficult. Jeez.
Yeah, let's see here.
Not a hard riddle, guys. Children have guessed this.
I am completely stumped. Sister, any guesses?
I want to say some type of root, vegetable.
No. Alright, I'll give you one more clue. Jesus. I have two hands. Look into my face gives you knowledge. Minutes are numbered. Give you the time of day. And I am always on TikTok.
Oh boy, you just made it harder. I feel like this is referencing some classic literature I haven't read.
Sorry, I really got nothing.
Yeah, you got us, Mr. Skull. We can't figure this out.
Oh my god, idiots! Two hands, face, minutes, time of day, TikTok, TikTok!
Okay, yelling won't make it any clearer, alright? We're already confused, just give us a minute to think.
Alright, you know what? Just guess anything and I'll say it's right. I just want you two to go away.
Oyster in a half shell.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Now, please leave me alone.
We nailed that riddle. Look at us being so smart.
Just call us the Genius Sibs.
Turning me into a giant disembodied skull wasn't the real torment, was it? Making me talk to those two was.
Well, now that our minds are fresh from conquering that intellectual challenge, let's continue our ranking, shall we?
Yes, genius bro. Let's continue.
Genius bro, huh? I can get used to that.
Well, don't. It was a one-time thing.
Noted.
Number 5, Betrayal. 3 brothers go back.
Wait, hold on, sister. The whole video is about betrayal. Is hell getting to what's left of your brain?
Brother.
You said number 5, Betrayal, but you're supposed to say the name of the movie, not the topic of the video. I swear, sometimes I wonder how you even function.
Brother.
It's just like when we were alive and you thought that frozen yogurt was regular yogurt you put in the freezer. I spent a month pointing that out. I'm tired of having to pick up the pieces from all your mistakes. I mean, first there was the froyo thing, then there was the time you tried to blow up my dinner after I told you to nuke it. Like, how many times do I have to clean up for your dumb...
Let me speak, for goodness sake. The movie is called Betrayal. That is the title. You watched this movie.
Very well, proceed then.
Anyways. Number 5. The movie Betrayal. 3 brothers go back to the shallow grave that they buried their abusive father in after they lured him into the woods and shot him. When they return to recover the key to his safe, they are surprised to find the grave empty and a mysterious figure stalking them. As the story progresses, we see just what a monster the father was in life through flashbacks, and begin to question if any of the brothers can be trusted.
To be completely honest, this movie is more of a thriller than a horror film. Although it does throw in a few scares here and there, particularly when the brothers come across a few Blair Witch-esque camps, and one of them has visions of their dead mother. Nevertheless, the story is still very gripping and intense, and I didn't always know where it was going or which of the protagonists, if any, were trustworthy. I do feel like a few things could have been explained a little better, and the twist of exactly what is going on does require some suspension of disbelief, but I still found this to be a very compelling suspense film.
I found myself engrossed throughout the entire film, and it ends on a very satisfying note that gave me exactly what I was hoping to get out of this story. This was a really great movie, just wasn't entirely horror.
Number 4, The Descent. After an adventurous woman loses her husband and child in a car accident, her friends invite her on a spelunking trip to help try to cheer her up. They initially believe this to be a fairly routine adventure through a well-known and touristy cave. However, once inside, it's revealed that one of the friends, Juno, lied and led them to a completely uncharted cave instead. Now, the women have to try to find a way out of the underground labyrinth while fighting the treacherous environment, each other, and a pack of strange creatures that lurks in the depths.
This is a very suspenseful film with a good balance of scares and drama. This film is unique in that there are 2 versions, an American and an English ending. We watched the American version, so that is what we are using for our ranking. This movie is terrifying in a multitude of ways. First, you have the real terrors of being trapped in a cave with seemingly no way out. Claustrophobia, hunger, etc. Then you have the added horrors of these very scary cave monsters. It will definitely make you think twice about cave diving tricks.
This movie starts out strong and continues throughout with a very claustrophobic feel, and of course the added horror that the creatures obviously bring. Where it stumbles a bit is near the end. The betrayal reveal feels underwhelming and unsatisfying. It's revealed that Juno had been sleeping with the main woman Sarah's husband before he died. Not only that, she also accidentally killed another woman in the cave thinking she was a monster and left her to die. Instead of so much as having a conversation about this, Sarah simply wounds her and leaves her for dead. I feel like this element could have been stronger if they fleshed out Juno more and made her a full-on villain, deliberately luring Sarah to the other cave to try to kill her and purposefully killing the others to slow the monsters down so she can get out. And I don't know if it's just me, but I swear when I watched this movie when I was younger, I remember Sarah and Juno having an actual fight scene at the end where they were trying to kill each other. Mandela effect is crazy, I tell you. Also, as Sister stated, there are 2 endings. The original British ending and the American one. The British is more conclusive, but a hell of a downer, while the American is more positive but super confusing. Pick your poison, I guess.
Number 3, Midsummer. After tragedy strikes her family, a young woman named Dani travels to a commune in Sweden with her boyfriend and his friends. When the group arrives, things seem normal, peaceful, almost magical in this supposed paradise. However, it isn't long before strange and horrifying events begin to unravel these outsiders' blissful experience and reveal them to the dark truth of this commune that they may already be too late to escape.
We covered this film at length in our cults video, so I won't tread too much new ground here. I still do love the artistry of this movie as it's beautifully shot and scored. I also love the contrasts between the pleasant saccharine imagery and the horrible, brutal things that are happening as the cult begins to show more of its true colors. This movie contains 2 betrayals, and they both hurt to watch. The first is, of course, Pele, the group's friend who lures them there knowing they'll all be killed or brainwashed. The second is Dani, who, after being manipulated by the cult, chooses to sacrifice her boyfriend. I do still wish the group fought back a little, though that's one problem I have with a lot of these elevated horror films, is that the bad guy basically wins unopposed, while the protagonists don't even put up a fight. Just not my personal cup of tea.
This is long, about 2.5 hours, so you are definitely committing when you start watching. I do feel like it could have been cut down by a half an hour or so. Still, it is one of my favorite modern horror films, and it is a beautiful film full of horrifying cult rituals and betrayal.
Number 2, Scream. Exactly 1 year after the brutal murder of her mother, a teenager named Sydney and her friends become the targets of a terrifying string of killings done by a figure in a ghost face mask who makes chilling phone calls to his victims. With time running out, Sydney and her surviving friends must piece together the killer's identity before it's too late, especially since the killer may be someone close to them.
This movie is so good. It manages to be legitimately scary while also being very funny, and it keeps you guessing the entire time. This betrayal goes hard because the killers turn out to be Sydney's boyfriend and one of her close friends. They also didn't just commit these murders, they admit to being behind her mother's attack a year prior. The acting was good in this film, and there were so many elements that were pleasantly surprising, making this movie stand above so many others like it.
This film revitalized the slasher genre when it was beginning to dwindle in the 90s, and is a movie that manages to be self-aware and somewhat tongue-in-cheek without being a full-blown comedy. That's extremely difficult to pull off, but the team behind this film managed to do it and make a ton of sequels in the process.
Number 1, Get Out. Chris and Rose, an interracial couple, travel to Rose's parents' house so Chris can be introduced. When they arrive, Chris immediately begins seeing red flags. From her father's overly friendly demeanor, her mother's fondness for hypnotism, her brother's borderline toxic masculinity, and the all African American staff working at the house who all seem off. Chris knows something strange is going on, but he doesn't figure out just how strange until it is nearly too late and he has to fight physically and mentally for his life.
This movie is not at all subtle in its political allegories. It makes very plain the message it's trying to get across and what it has to say about race relations in America, and it does so in a very smart and powerful way. Now, I will say that the reveal of the nature of the horror, being the whole brain transplant surgery thing, was a little hard to believe and could have used a little bit more explanation. But I do admit that the idea of someone else putting their brain in your body while you're still alive enough to see what's going on is a very chilling, to say the least.
Opposite of Midsummer, I wish this film was actually longer, so they could have explained a bit more. This movie had amazing acting and a unique and original concept. The betrayal is very unexpected and heartbreaking. This film was an amazing directional debut by Jordan Peele.
I think we're getting close now. Do you think she might be in there?
I don't know, you think?
Just come on. Excuse me, you seen our cousin about yay high, brown ponytail, dark green dress, extremely obnoxious?
Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. If you want to know, it'll cost you.
Cost? Cost what?
A soul for some hell ale.
Yeah, you look like you've had enough hell ale. Come on, let's just keep walking. There she is.
You guys came. You have to get me out of here.
Halt! You may not take this soul from here, lest ye substitute one of your own. A soul for a soul. Choose which of you shall stay.
We're not agreeing to that. Give us our cousin and let us get out of here.
I said choose.
He's too powerful. One of you is going to have to sacrifice yourself. Scary Sibs always liked you better. Let's just grow and we can get out of here.
Wait, what? Hold on. I feel like I should get a say in this.
No, I won't do it. Take me instead.
No, take me.
Brother, what are you doing? You need to take Abby cousin. No! Besides, what you hated me.
Oh, I can't stand you, but at the same time, you're family, and I won't ever betray family to a fate like this. You made the hell out of me, but damn it, I love you.
Oh, I love you too, brother. What? Okay, Mike. They're not going for it. Turn them loose.
Anything else you need, or we good?
No, it's all right. Thanks anyway. Go on, Mike. Get out of here. Wacky guy. Gotta love him.
Explanation?
Oh, yeah. So this whole thing was just a ruse to get you two down here and betray one another. You two were so unpleasant that I decided to put you where you belong and maybe add a little torment on top of that. But I guess you two had some moral epiphany along the way. That, or you talked about a whole bunch of movies about betrayal and grew a conscience or something. So that's ruined. So you made us come all the way to hell just to trap us here? Yep. And even though I couldn't send either of you to the treachery circle like I wanted, you still don't have a way out. So, ha! All right, I'm tired of this place, so smell you later. What? What's going on? Why can't I get into heaven?
Oh, yeah. That whole thing you just did counts as betrayal, so yeah, you're stuck down here for real this time.
Oh, nuts.
Come on, I'll show you to your pit of eternal torment.
This blows.
Well, that was a waste of time. I knew this little adventure was a bad idea.
This was your idea.
And it was a bad one, like most of my ideas. Keep up, sister.
So, exactly how do we get out of here?
I have no idea. I was really banking on this being enough to get us into heaven, and I didn't want to have a backup plan. Should have thought of one. Huh. Guess the portal had one more left in it. Thank you, Texas Tom's Discounts LLC.
Never thought I'd actually be glad to be back here.
Yeah, I'd rather be in this metaphorical hell than the literal one we were just in.
Anyways, those were our picks for the top 10 horror movies about betrayal. Do you agree or disagree with any of our picks? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Scary Sis.
And I'm Scary Bro.
And we are
The Scary Sibs. You know, even though that whole trip was a complete waste of time, I'm kind of glad we went. It was nice to get out of this place for a while.
I agree, brother. A change of scenery every now and then is nice. But I'm glad things can finally go back to normal now.